For you. Is that
That
my that's my background noise, huh?
it's your background noise, I believe.
There we go. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm back on the show. What were you thinking? Sponsored by the world's greatest, sponsored by fanfest.io. I'm your host, along with producer Bob here today.
Somehow, Devon, I'm in a tiny screen. Is it tiny on your side too?
Yeah, it is tiny, but I don't mind it. I'll keep the big screen.
It's appropriate. I've been relegated to the tiny screen. I'm fine with
It's
it.
okay. Just number two on the screen, but number one in our hearts.
Dev, we're working on upgrades with the FanFest team, and we're gearing just like you. We're gearing all of our upgrades toward USA's. So everything's going to be a fine-tuned machine by the USA Championships.
Okay, I like the sound of that. Bob, as you know, I've been very very busy the last 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Um, since I've
Yeah.
been on the show one time in the last 3 weeks, but in the last 3 weeks I've been in Philly, at OTAs, off-season training activities, doing all that football related stuff in terms of just not trying to survive, trying to survive the the slaughter of me trying to learn a whole NFL offense in 2 weeks, and then now even when I'm back in Annapolis, I'm in Annapolis training for the week. I'm back in Philly on Monday.
Yeah.
I am still in meetings every day, trying to learn the offense as well. Right, like trying to take notes and trying to figure out everything that's going on. So when I show up on Monday, I don't look like an idiot. So just
This
staying
is
busy for sure.
No, this is the stuff that we want to hear about, though, right? I mean, so literally, like, so your days are studying playbooks. Are you studying video as well?
Yeah, so I'll tell you my day. Today woke up like 8:30, had some breakfast, some coffee, did a little bit of not catching up, but watching some of yesterday's practice film, just so I knew what they were going to go over in meetings. And then at 10:30 we had special teams meetings, and then we had team meetings, and then position meetings, and then they went out to practice. Right there in Philly, they went out to practice for an hour. Kind of going through the script and the plays, and then I went out to practice around the same time. I had training at 1 o'clock today, and I trained on the track at hurdle today, and then I had a lift, so I lifted, and I came back, and there was at the end of the day, and it's allowed for the rookies. If you're a rookie, which I am, even though I'm 27, there's like some developmental film for like 45 minutes, and then there's like a rookie development meeting where they go over like social media, like how to act on social media, like the basics, right? And
Right,
like,
right.
you know, drug testing, like we're gonna get drug tested. So we sign up for the, USADA or whatever. And then
You're like a
today
veteran
was
rookie, is what all
exactly
this
well,
is.
but
Yeah.
today I something I needed to know. It was like life insurance and 401k pension plans, stuff like that, like to set up through the NFL. So it's all stuff I need to know, but my day consists of like 4 hours of meetings virtually, and I'm not even there. So
Hey, welcome to my world.
you're
Yeah,
virtual.
I'm just virtual meetings, unless we're shooting. This is all, well, for the most part. For the most part, yeah. It's just the exhaustion of the Zoom after this. So wait a minute. So you're in Annapolis right now.
I'm in Annapolis, off to Jacksonville in the morning for
Tomorrow
a
morning.
competition. Yep,
Yep,
racing on Saturday.
competition. That's what I was going to ask. It's Saturday. So where can we see that? And that's an American Track League event,
Yeah, it's
correct?
an American Track League event that's going to be on ESPN. Hold on,
I think
I can
it's
tell you. I
ESPN
just look it up.
Maine.
I think so.
I think it's AmericanTrackLeague.com that people can go to actually see the events. You can
Yeah,
actually subscribe too.
AmericanTrackLeague.com. Yeah, American Track League on Twitter, American Track. It's going to be 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time, and that will be on a ESPN channel, I believe. I just don't know. It looks like it might be on ESPN3, based on the social media posts. Yep, ESPN3, 6 p.m. Eastern.
All right.
So
And
if
it's
you
going to
if you
be,
want to check it out, check it
yeah.
out. If you're in Florida, within a 5-hour drive of Jacksonville, if there's one event you want to see, it's going to be the 110 hurdles this weekend, because I'll be running there. Grant Holloway is running as well, and then Daniel Roberts, one of our, the 3 guys that made the U.S. Olympic team last year. So it's going to be a good field. There's tons more guys going. I'm not going to shout out everybody, but those are the 3 U.S. guys that made the Olympics last year. So it's going to be a good race. The track is super fast. The weather's going to be like 80 degrees and sunny. So cannot complain.
Little better than Annapolis, a little worse than Phoenix.
Yes. No, actually, Annapolis was super nice today. It was like 80 degrees.
Was it really?
This week's like the first week that we had really warm weather.
So Devon, and stuff like everything you're going through right now, what do you do to relax?
I usually play video games, but I don't like to play video games alone. And my friends that also play video games happen to be either working or also in the NFL, so they're busy during the day too. So, like today, today I texted the group and they were like, I was asking if they wanted the game. They're like, not today. I'm too tired. So fair enough.
There you go.
But I'm packing and stuff right now because I have an early morning flight. But I wanted to hop on, and Ashton's gonna get on with us in just a moment here. In a bit, we're gonna talk about her, accolades, her athletic endeavors, which is pretty cool. One of my favorite events in track is the hep and the decathlon, and one of my best friends, Mitch Modine, is a decathlete. So I get to be around that world a lot. So I pay close attention to the multi-events just because at heart I'm a multi-eventer. I tell my coach, Jamie Cook, 2016, the off year for us, I'm going to train strictly for the multis, try to get an invite to Gotsis and score over 8,000, and also
wait a minute, are you saying 2026?
20, did I say 2016?
You said 2016. You're going back.
Hey, let's take it back. No, 2026 is the goal.
I like that. No, wait a minute. Which is the one? Was it? Is it javelin that you're not great at? Which is the one that you're terrible at?
Well, anything technical is stuff I'm not going to be great at until I learn how to do the event. So javelin, pole vault, that kind of stuff. Like I'm fast, obviously. I can jump. Long jump, high jump's fine. Pole vault is an issue. I can figure it out, but I just haven't. Discus and shot put I do okay with. I'm pretty, actually better at discus than Mitch, and he's not going to admit that. But if I spent like a couple weeks doing it, I'd beat him. So.
Mitch is going to pull out those ping pong videos again if you start talking about that. I think, should we just bring Ashtin right in, throw her right in?
Yeah, she's ready. If she's ready,
she's here. Yeah, let's just bring her on in, and this will be fun. Bring on stage. I'll do that.
See producer Bob behind the scenes, in front of the scenes.
Yeah. I'm hoping that she's going to come in as a big. You're the only big video, Devon.
I know, tough.
Ashtin,
what's up?
Hey guys, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Can hear you great.
Okay.
So Ashtin, I'm just filling in. We had a last minute replacement. We didn't tell everybody, Devon. Last second replacement, Jessica Beard, not feeling too well here at the last minute. So sending her the love to feel better.
Calling in the sub.
Calling in the sub. Devon, you missed it, and Ashtin, you may have seen it last week. So Devon couldn't make it. Jessica couldn't make it. Natoya Gould couldn't make it. Brandon Miller couldn't make it. He was the last dropout. So I'm texting. I must have sent out 30 texts to people to see who wants to come in to be the host, because we got to keep the streak going. We're not going to break the streak at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
So I text John Anderson from ESPN, who Devon has done a show with, and John's like, yeah, I'll be on. It was like an hour before the show. So then I called up Brandon, and John Anderson actually was like, I love Brandon Miller. He's a great guy. I don't understand why he can't do the show, though. He's just packing. I have to do like 20 events on the broadcast. Yeah. So I call up Brandon. I'm like, yo, come on the show just for a minute and just, send a little love to John Anderson to go, wishing you the best. Good luck. Have a good show. So it happened. It was hilarious. I surprised John with that. And we ended up getting 180,000 views on this show.
Oh, so wow.
That was our best show ever.
Hey, shout out John. And to be honest, I do like watching. I mean, I like watching track and field. That's one of the things I enjoy doing. But whenever he is the commentator and/or on the track personality, it's always extra fun to watch because I know he's gonna ask some wild stuff. There are some, some things that happen during SECs. Hopefully you can keep it PG-13 rating still based on just some of the stuff going on. But it's always funny to see like what's going on live on the meet, watching the TV, and then following it on social media because people are tweeting as everything's going, and you're like, oh, they caught that too. So it's pretty good.
So true. So, Dev, do you want to start things off? You know me,
Yeah.
I have a million of my own questions.
Oh, for sure. So, Ashton, what do you got going on right this moment? In terms of training,
Right this moment.
competitions and stuff like that. Gotsis is next week, right? Are you going out?
Yeah. Well, okay. I was going to, and then I decided to do a meet in Canada last weekend instead. So I did USA's, and then quick turnaround, did Canada. Canada didn't go so well. Turns out I can't do 2 heptathlons in 2 weekends. It's not something
Seems a
that
bit overzealous. Why not make it 3 and 4 weekends?
I know. That's what I was saying. Might as well go for it. But I have Spain the week after Gotsis, so I'm gonna head to that one instead. It's not ranked as high as the Gotsis meet, but Canada was. And there's gonna be just a lot more competitors at Gotsis, so I figured, heptathletes and decathletes kind of play the system with world rank and all that kind of stuff, and I am just now like hopping on to that bandwagon, trying to figure out like how to get top 24. Since I got second at USA's, they still wouldn't take me to Worlds because you have to be top 24. And so I'm like 28th right now. So anyways, I'm just trying to get into big meets to score well and get more points added to do that. And I was hoping to do that at Canada, but no, I don't think I could do Gotsis quite so easily. So Spain is what's next in 2.5 weeks.
Okay,
I'm
good.
really
No,
excited
that makes a lot of sense, and I think you make a good point. Kind of with the new world ranking system on how to qualify, because it even happens some in like the open events, right? The hurdles and the 100 and stuff like that. To all the fans watching or people that will be watching is, you got to place a certain place at USA trials anyways to make the team, But
right.
once you do that, they go backwards from 24 down to qualify the rest of the athletes in that specific event, the heptathlon, decathlon, and then for the open events, it's going to be I think it's 40 down, just for a full field of 5 heats. So that you make a good point when you say you're trying to game the system in terms of, okay, a lot of people are going to Gotsis. It's a good meet. You might want to do it because it's great atmosphere, but you're going to another meet that is ranked similar or just as high, and you could end up, you could win that meet, and not set the world on fire, right? Like at Gotsis,
it's nothing crazy.
You have to place.
Yeah.
You have to do really well. Everybody PBs at Gotsis, right? It's as opposed to.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to go to Gotsis. I told Mac, I was like, I want to go next year. Like, I can't go this year because I have Spain, but I want to go next year for sure. Just because it's such a amazing meet to go compete at and compete. It's basically like a small Olympics for the heptathlon and the decathlon. It's like crazy how popular that meet is. But no, I'm just trying to figure out the cheapest yet best way to get up to the world rank. No, I've never, as I was saying, I've never flown overseas before, so Spain will be the first, and I'm super excited about that. Just because I've never been to Spain as well, so it'll be fun.
You can't take the camper
but no,
there.
No, I can't take the camper there.
I was gonna ask about that. So
this is it right here.
Is that your idea or Wolf?
No, that was Wolf. We were living in Austin, renting out a place, and it was so expensive. And he's like, "I'm tired of not owning something, just throwing our money away." And we travel so much, and I was like, "Well, let's just get a camper." So it's like, okay. Our first one actually on the way to the Olympic trials last year, we got hit by a truck, and it completely was totaled. It's completely just,
I think I saw that somewhere, like social media.
Yeah, and it was drivable still. Like it didn't hit the front part of the cab; it hit the back part. So we drove up. We finished the drive. It was like 2 days in. It's a 4-day trip. Anyway, so we had a lot of fun in it, but it was totaled and got a new one. This one's kind of like an Airstream. I don't know if you've ever like the tin
I've seen
can,
it.
and
Yep.
it's an older version. It's a Silver Streak, but no, we completely remodeled it, and now it looks like a little tiny home. So it's a lot of fun, and yeah, when we travel to that, we didn't take it to Canada. No, we're not taking it to Spain, but we're gonna go everywhere in it, and can't wait. Gas though, that sucks.
Gas,
Driving,
That's the crazy thing is, I don't know if this is just a multi thing or just the type of personality that multi-eventers have. You have to be like obviously super competitive, but a little bit on edge and just like in tune with your whole self. Kind of like. Do you know Mitch Modine at all? Like, are you?
Oh yeah, no, we're good friends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. So Mitch's dream would be like to have a camper and just drive around the country and compete in decathlons, right? So
he
like,
would have a blast. He would have a blast, and his YouTube video would take off, I'm sure. And that's another thing. I was like, that would be so much fun to vlog it too, and because we do some YouTube stuff as well. But no, he's awesome. He's great. We stopped actually at his track on the way to Olympic trials the day before we got hit. Actually, yeah. So that was a lot of fun getting to see him and stuff. But no, it's fun because you can kind of take your house wherever you go. You don't have to like, forget about packing anything. But
True.
no, it's been nice for the most part, and we take our dogs everywhere we go too. We have 2 dogs, and they're huge, so it's been an adventure.
So when you say that, so you can go anywhere. Where are you training in Tula right now, or where are you?
No, we're actually in Atlanta. Wolf had a track meet yesterday here in Atlanta, Georgia, and then a few days ago we were in Canada, and then a few days ago before that we were in Tennessee. So we went, and then before that we were in Fayetteville. So it's just kind of been one meet after the next, which has been nice that we can do that in this thing. But no, it's been crazy. I'm ready to go back home to Texas. I do need some time of not driving so much.
Yeah, just settle into like a track you can go to every day and not having to figure out where you're going to train.
Yeah, but this place is beautiful out here. I don't know if you've ever heard of like Stone Mountain. Yeah, never mind. Forget about that. Sorry.
Yeah,
no, I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's like
it's
a real place. Yeah.
So so traveling around, you're gonna get back to Texas hopefully eventually here soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
You said you're not bringing it to Spain. What is your training like? What does your training look like on the road in terms of like, just give me like a week, or just give me your last week?
Yeah. Okay, last week. Well, that's not fair because I did a heptathlon a week before. So I did nothing last week. It was just trying to get my body right for the next heptathlon. Yes. Okay. So the week leading up to it.
Give me lead up to USA's.
Leading up to USA's. Okay. So we're in Fayetteville for a week. It was raining nonstop. It was thundering like crazy for like 4 days straight. And so we're like, okay, let's just hopefully the indoor track is open. This is what we do. We drive places and we just pray for the best and reach out to any coaches that we know. And so we reached out to the coach, like, yeah, we're open from this time. This time is when our pros train. It's like, cool, perfect. So every day from 11 to 2, we would meet at the indoor track. And if it wasn't raining, we'd go outdoor. So that was really nice. I've trained only a couple times in an indoor track because Texas didn't have one. And oh my God, I don't realize like how like spoiled it like some people could be with, oh, it'd be so nice to train indoor track facility during like bad weather and stuff. God, I could get so much better because the winter in Texas this year has been rough. Like it's been so cold nonstop and just windy. I think it was in the 40s up until March. Like it was so cold. Yeah, there we go.
You were wishing for an indoor track while you were in.
Yeah, and I was like somewhere. So it was really nice to train there. And I have been kind of injured / hurt. I guess what multi isn't injured or hurt at any point in their lives. And there I am again. But no, it was just, so Monday was hurdle day. We hurdled and threw shot put and lifted. Tuesday, we did some javelin approach and one other thing I can't remember. And then the next day I did long jump approach inside because it was pouring down rain all day. And then, just
Kind of
ready.
prep.
I like to
Yeah.
chill the day before the meet, so I don't shoot my nervous system. I don't know how you do it in the hurdles. Like I see a lot of hurdlers go out and do like full on like 1, 2, 3 hurdles the day before, and I've like done that my whole career besides my senior year because for me it shoots my nervous system for the next day. Like I'm slower out of blocks, like I don't respond well, so I just like chill the day before and I do yoga. So I'm like completely relaxed and
Oh, for sure. I mean,
everything's loose.
yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, and I think it's different athlete to athlete, and depending on where you're at in your training block, right? Like for
Right.
me, like you said, when I was in college, I did the whole pre-meet before the race. Block starts over 2 or 3, right? And in the last like 3 or 4 years, I don't do any of that. I just like jog around the hotel and like do a little dynamic warm up, and then I go to bed and then wake up and go. Because I'm starting to realize, and not that I'm old, because I'm not. I'm only 27, but I'm starting to realize, in this game, if you don't have it, you're not going to have it training the day before. You're not going to figure it out in a day.
Right. Same.
Right. So there's no use in overdoing it.
Exactly. That's what I figured out too. But one thing, I guess one secret that I do. The morning of a hep each day. So day 1 and day 2, I do like a morning shakeout just to just see how the body's feeling. Do you do that as well?
Depends. If I have a meet like before 5 o'clock, I won't do a shakeout. But if I have a late night meet, I'll like move around.
That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. No, it's really crucial, I think, on day 2 when you do the multi one day. I just like to know how my body's feeling when I get out of bed. I'm like, oh yeah, that hurts. Okay, that hurts a little bit. But after getting done with the first shakeout, it's just going to the track later that day or in the morning. I always feel a lot easier. Like it's easier to warm up, and my body's like already adjusted. Like, okay, I'm loose, and I can warm up a lot easier that way. So that's always helped a lot. So yeah, that's been a factor, knowing if I could do well in this hep or not. Health.
No, that's smart. I mean, and I think too, you're still young in the sport, but you're becoming a veteran in terms of your ability and how long you've been doing it. So the most important thing is just knowing what you need to do in order to be successful. You can't compare yourself to anybody else.
Oh, that's very true. How young do you think I am?
Probably like 24, 25. Like you're like 2 years out of college, right? 2, 3 years out of college.
I'm 3. I'm old now.
Okay. I mean, don't say you're old.
For multi, well, hurdling is different. I feel like multi, it's like more beating on your body, but you still, I mean, you're like doing all of it, right? Aren't you football too?
Yeah. So I just started doing that again too, which is a lot more, not difficult. It's a lot more than I expected, but it's fun. I enjoy it. But yeah, I think multi events are super special because the people that are good at it, it's hard to explain, but you just have it. Like it's just something, like you're just like I tell Mitch all the time, like you're just that guy, right? You don't need to do a whole bunch. Obviously, you need to be in shape to compete, right? Especially for like I'll say, like you said, you did 2 heptathlons in 2 weeks. That's pushing it. But even doing a deck, that's why they moved the USA Championships. 8 weeks before 8 weeks before Worlds, because even 3 weeks or 4 weeks turnaround is pushing it in terms of doing that many events for a hep and a deck. So the guys that are at the top are always usually going to be at the top, and you kind of see that like year over year, guys and girls, right? Just like top 5, top 10 are usually the same, and
and then
they get
Annie
better.
freaking Annie bombs and does a 600-point PR, whatever it was. That was insane.
Oh yeah. I mean, and that happens at the Olympic trials and U.S. champs. That stuff happens, but you kind of knew like she was a good athlete.
No,
in
yeah, no,
college,
it
too.
gives
Like
me
you're
hope.
like,
You know, I'm like, oh, it can happen to me too.
yeah.
Someday. Yeah, no, it's great. It's honestly like she tried for so long. She was scoring 61, 61, 6,000, 6,000 for years. I was like, she's gonna pop off a big one. I'm just waiting for it. Just waiting for it. And knowing what she had done indoors and seeing like the lead up, I was like, okay, it's gonna happen if she just doesn't foul out of the long jump, because long jump is like her Achilles heel sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, and she hit it, and she hit it at the trials, and of course it was amazing. And it was crazy because I was her teammate back at A&M my freshman year, and with
I was gonna
Lyndon,
ask
with
about
all
that
the
too, so don't.
yeah, no, she was awesome. She was great. She was kind of, obviously she's a jokester, and she's so much fun to be around. She brings such a positive like energy to the team, to the group. But yeah, the training wasn't for me. That's why I transferred. It was, I got fat and out of shape, I guess is what I'd say. I needed more running. So like you said, like each athlete's different. I just needed to find the right coach for me, and I think I did at Texas. But no, it was fun competing with her, and I learned and I looked up to them, Annie and Jenna, for years, and respected them and still do. I mean, I'm still amazed that she's doing what she's doing at her age, and it's inspiring. It's really inspiring. I'm 25, and in 2 years I'll be 27. That's when she took off in the hep and qualified for the Olympics. And I think I have a lot. I'm pretty like standard in all the events. Like I'm pretty just like average, except like javelin. I'm really good at javelin, thankfully, because I'm not like super fast like Talia, or like throw. I mean, I throw decently far, but Annie's like friggin' chunking bombs out there. So I'm just like, if you could just be average, and then just have one or two events that you're just really solid at, you'll be successful. But for the hep, it's more. I say the difference between the hep and dep. The hep is more sprint based. If you're fast, you're going to be really good at it. And the one thing that hurt you is the shot put or javelin, which is kind of me, where I come in. It's like I'm decently fast, like just I'm decent, average, but my throws is what helps put me on over the top sometimes. And for the deck, I feel like it's more evenly balanced. I feel like you can be fast, but you got to jump high and you got to throw far. I feel like it's definitely the hardest event ever.
Hey, Ashtin, go ahead.
Jeff. Go ahead.
I was gonna take it back a second, because for people that don't know who you are, let's do a quick rundown, your life story in 60 seconds. But let's meld track life and personal life, because I think you and I met like 3 years ago or something at a little taco joint. Remember that? Me, you, George, and Wolf in Austin at some little dumpy taco joint that was really good.
I remember that. Yeah, it was good. In 60 seconds, I don't know. I have lots of drama in 60 seconds. I don't know.
All right, hold on, Devon. You got the stopwatch. You got the stopwatch.
Oh no! Just.
You really want me in 60 seconds?
Yeah, 60 seconds. You ready, Dev?
Okay.
Yep. Ready, go.
Okay, I was born to an Aggie family. Both my parents were in track at A&M. So I went to A&M, but I really wanted to go to UT. So after I asked to transfer after my freshman year, they denied me. After my semester year, they denied me. So I asked to transfer after my first year, and they finally got a yes. And my parents stopped talking to me. They completely cut me off. So the next 3 years, I worked my ass off, and I broke the school record at UT. Later that next year, I became a national champion and to a Big 12 Athlete of the Year. Then what else happened? Oh, and then parents finally started talking to me. And then I went on to train professional. And still to this day, my mother roots against me and roots for every A&M Aggie to beat me. And it's just the best. That's my life story. Oh, and I got fifth at the trials. Forgot to add that in there.
Wait a minute. We didn't weave in any dogs or wolf or
personal life.
I got 2 dogs.
We don't know what kind of music you love. Like,
I married my husband, Wolf, who's who also ran track at UT. He's a decathlete now. He runs 400 hurdles. So that was a big change up this year. I married him in 2020, right before the pandemic hit. So that was save. But yeah, no, that's it basically. And now we have a camper. Now we live in a camper.
What kind of dogs do you have?
One is a border collie lab mix, and the other is a, I don't know. He's like a Dalmatian slash bird dog is what I call him.
Bird dog.
Yeah,
Bird
he's a bird
dog.
dog.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I have a Great Dane. He's not with me right now. He's in Chicago.
Oh,
but,
dang.
Yeah. He's pretty. He's
the
pretty
dogs
great.
are fun. I love them so much. Yeah, so that was.
That's your life in 60 seconds. So let's. I actually wanted to dive into that a little bit. One of my best friends went to A&M. His name's Robert Grant. You might know him,
Bobby.
you might not. Yeah. So
yeah, I know Bobby.
And I just know how he is about like any Texas, A&M versus Texas, anything. So I could see, your parents being ride or die, but like how is that transition other than your parents not talking to you, but like your friends and like when you were doing well in Texas, obviously you won an NCAA title and stuff like that.
Right.
Like obviously you're not wearing the horns upside down. You're rocking them proud.
I know. No, it was funny because it's just different. Like Texas, I realized that Texas doesn't like hate A&M like A&M hates Texas. Like there's like very different levels of like hate, and A&M is like, I mean, I grew up like just Longhorns suck. Like you're UT, you suck. Like you just don't even speak of it, and it's just. This is like not a thing. This is like a sin. It's like a mortal sin if you do this.
You do this in A&M, yeah.
Yeah, no. So that was really hard because my mom's like super religious, and so it just was like really weird that I don't know, you could literally hate your daughter for going to a different school. I don't know. It's just kind of silly to me. But yeah, no, it's pretty hardcore, and I love the traditions. I love A&M's traditions, and I think they're really really cool and stuff. But I think there's some kind of like, I don't know, some crazy stuff going on there.
Something in the water. What's the best thing about Austin and being at University of Texas? Because when I was getting recruited, I was Texas was one of those schools that as a football player and a track athlete, I'm like, wow, this just makes sense. Like I should just go play go play at Texas and be like that's Texas football. But I never really did consider it towards the end of my recruiting. But tell me what makes it special. Like, what do you enjoy about being there?
I grew up like small town. Like my city was less than 2,000 people. So A&M was like the next version of like, oh, it's a big college, great track program, but it still kind of got that country, rural,
small town
feel
vibe,
to it. Yeah. And then Austin's like big city lights, like never have experienced anything like that before. I mean, you have this huge downtown, you have the mountains on one side, I would say mountains, the hillside on one side, and then the city life on the other. You just get a mix of everything. And I think you can really thrive in that if you focus enough. I think that's one part that like athletes struggle with so much, is really focusing on either the schoolwork and the athletics part, or the partying and the whatever it is. I like hardly ever went out, not to say that you can't do both, but that was just not something that I grew up like had like high priorities on. And I was just more just like focused on succeeding in track, and it was just so much fun, honestly, getting to do both in Austin. Looking back at if I had to do it at College Station, there's like nothing in College Station. It's like Cowtown, like nothing. It's growing now, but it's like there's nothing there whenever I was there. But in Austin, I mean, you have the weekends to relax and go like swim at the pool and the Hamilton pool, and and Barton Springs, and we'll play mini putt-putt golf, and just, I don't know, just meet people you
There's a
never would
lot
have
to do
met
in
before.
Austin.
And
Yeah.
a lot of good food too. Like,
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Really, yeah, but
Yeah.
no, it was good. It was, love the experience, and I do call it my second home. It grew on me pretty quickly. Yeah. What made you choose Oregon? Sorry.
Go ahead. No. I like when you guys
wanna
ask
know
each
what
other
made-
questions. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Well, I haven't got to talk to Devon a lot. I want to know what made him choose Oregon.
Well, it wasn't simple in terms of my decision, but it was simple in terms of once I decided what I wanted to do, that Oregon was the only place to go. Right? Like getting recruited, I was playing football and I was, in my head, and that's, just like the mentality of like a high school 16-year-old, like, oh, I'm a football player. Don't call me a track guy. Like, I was faster than everybody, but, at the time I was just doing sprints, like the 100 and 200. I was like runner up in the Arizona State, sprints. And then my coach turned me into a hurdler. But so when I started getting recruited, I was like, oh, football. So I'm just thinking football. I'm thinking Florida State, Ohio State, LSU, Alabama, Florida, Texas, stuff like that. And, Pac-12 obviously is there because I'm from Arizona, Arizona State, U of A, and I've seen all the schools. And then, the track thing became like a real legitimate option in terms of me running track in college and doing well. So I was like, well, what schools do both? And I was like, okay, LSU, Texas, Florida State, and Oregon. And then I was interested in Stanford as well, just because of Stanford. But like those four schools, LSU didn't really recruit me, so that's out of there. So the other schools, Texas and Florida State and Oregon, were kind of the schools I was looking into. And it just happened to be 2011 that year, my junior year, I think, is when Oregon played Auburn in the national championship. And I was like, oh, this team's good at football. They have like all these track athletes that are in the Olympics. Like, this is just like perfect.
That's true.
It was pretty simple once I visited, and I was like, okay, this is the place I need to go in order to do both. And the coaches were all about it. The head strength and conditioning coach for the football team and the track team was Jimmy Radcliffe, and he was literally the head of both programs. He was like, well, I'll write your program exactly, how it needs to be for you as an athlete, and make it work. And they already had D'Anthony Thomas and Michael James and Kenyon Barner, like star football players, running on the 4x1 and running 100 at Pac-12 and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, this is for me. And it worked out, obviously. Like, it went really well. But,
that's awesome.
Yeah, great school. Like, kind of like the opposite of Texas, or I would say Austin, because I've been to Austin. I was actually in 2019 when you won your title. That's a big city, and kind of like real, like a lot of people. In Eugene, it's growing because it's like track town, the track mecca. But when there's no track meets, Eugene is just like a little sleepy. Lots of people. Like, nothing against like eating, raw vegan and oatmeal and oats and walking around in sandals.
That's not for me.
But that was Eugene, and that's not not specifically my style, because I'm from Phoenix, a big city. But I did enjoy the fact that like it didn't feel so busy where you could just walk around. Like, I remember in the summers, when school is out, there's like no one there because there's nothing to do other than track. So like we're just the athletes that are there were playing like spike ball in the rec field with there's like 15 people in the rec working out, because there's no one on campus. No one lives there. I mean, people live in Eugene, but like the students go somewhere else, right? As opposed to like in Austin, I would assume that like a lot of them stay full time and like work in the city, during the summer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So definitely an awesome experience, for sure.
And that's great. That's awesome. How did you do in the cold? Like, how, like, practicing? Is it like rain constantly there?
So that's like the misconception, and I don't know where, I know it's Oregon, but I talked. So Bobby Grant went to Miami first, right? He went to Miami and transferred to Texas A&M. Every time he would call me, he'd be like, "Bro, it's raining again." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Dude, in Miami, it rains like for 4 hours every day, just like pours." And I was like, well, yeah, it's sunny here. Yeah. So then I looked, like, if you look online at like the total amount of water, Miami, Florida gets way more than Eugene in a year.
What? I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Every time, I swear, every time I competed, the last time I competed, well, besides the trials, it was hailing before my 800 in the heptathlon at nationals. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, it's hailing outside right now.
Well, I mean, it does
insane.
rain, it does get cold, but it doesn't get that cold.
Yeah.
It gets maybe like the 30s. It snowed once when I was in school there.
That must be the one
Wow.
video that we just posted.
Yeah, so it definitely was cold in training because we didn't have that big, the new stadium with the indoor underneath. We had like we have like a 40-meter or 50-meter.
Oh, I know.
Little thing underneath the stands. But other than that, we just ran in the rain. Like, I got pictures. It was kind of funny because my freshman year, I was coming off a wrist injury. I broke my wrist during football. I didn't play that season. And I was a little bit like out of shape, overweight. It's kind of like the freshman thing for everybody. Like, you're trying to maneuver life. So out of shape, overweight. And my coach, I ran a 4x4 indoors. I ran 50 point, which is about like 4 or 5 seconds off of like what I usually run, like a 400 in. So my coach is like, yeah, you got to lose some weight. You got to get in shape. And I spent like that whole, February, March, April, because I didn't make nationals. So like February, March, April, getting in shape. And, a lot of our workouts were outside, like doing 300s or whatever. And I have a picture of my phone that's pretty funny, if I can find it quickly, of me. I just finished 300 reps, 300-meter reps, and I'm just like standing there looking miserable, just like covered in rain, like just soaked. And it's funny because
that's what I picture Oregon.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
we didn't think anything of it in terms of like, here we go. Let's see if you can see this picture.
Yeah.
I'm just literally just wearing basketball shirts and just like, and it's just like I said, you don't think about it because it's just what you have to do.
Well, then last year, then it's 115 degrees or whatever.
Oh my God, that was terrible. I was like, I'm from Texas, and I feel like I'm about to pass out.
My coach was breathing. We were walking back when the meet got canceled. We were walking back to the hotel, and my coach was breathing like, how a dog breathes when he comes in from outside. Like, he was like walking like that. He was like, I was like, bro, are you okay? He's like, I don't know. I might pass out. I'm like, oh shoot.
Yeah, I swear the spectators had the worst because at least we were given like ice towels and ice buckets. Like, we could dunk ourselves in. That's what we were doing constantly. That's another reason why I think like Talia passed out, because she wasn't like soaking herself at all. Because I don't know if it's like the fro or what, but that thing had to be hot. Like, I just.
For sure.
Well,
it's kind of funny because that meet, the spectators were outside the whole time and feeling the heat. But I like drove up to because I was done competing. I like drove up to the track, and me and my coaches went into Phil Knight's suite for like we were there for like 3 hours. Right, just enjoying like the food and drinks and stuff like that. Because we're waiting for Phil, because Phil was like, hey. They were like, hey, like Phil's gonna be at the meet, like, come say hey. And I was like, perfect. Like, I'll come to the track and just watch. Yeah. He's like, his suite's right on the finish line. Like, this is the best seat in the house. So I'm like watching the meet, and I don't know how hot it was because I hadn't been outside.
Oh my God, you don't even. Wow.
Because I was eating and drinking and all that stuff, and then they finally say the meet's canceled. I'm like, what the heck? Why is the meet canceled? Then I go outside. I'm like, oh my God, it's freaking hot. So that was my experience.
Passed out. No, that's funny. It literally felt like an oven, like you were cooking, like the wind was coming in as it should have been. It's directed towards the finish line, and just feel like you're cooking, like you're squinting your eyes because it's burning your eyes. Yeah, it was a great time. I'll never forget that.
How do you guys deal with that kind of stuff though? Like, obviously, you're out in the elements. How do you, as athletes at the top of your game, how do you deal with the elements?
I'm from Phoenix, baby. Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah. That's good practice. I'm from Texas, but you get all kinds of weather. But I don't know. when I trained in Santa Barbara for like 8 months, I was like, wow, this is the life. This is perfect weather. You could train all the time. And it's like, I got used to that. And I was like, oh, why is it so hot here? Why is it so cold? Anyways, so I think that was a little misguiding. But no, you get so focused, especially during a heptathlon, just on each event. I forget about the weather. Like I know that it's hot. Like I'll be doing stuff to help and drink electrolytes and stuff for sweating. But I just get so focused on the event and like executing what I need to do for that event. It's just I don't think about it. Like in nationals when I won, everyone complains like that was the hottest meet they've ever competed in. Like I talked to all the heps. So like that was the hottest meet I've ever competed in. Was it in 2019 at Texas when you won nationals? I was like, really? I don't remember it being that hot. I was like focused. And I'm like, are you sure it was like 120 something degrees at Oregon? Are you sure that wasn't the anyway? So I think it's obviously mental. Some of it's mental, but in other cases like Talia's, like you really can't fight it sometimes. But
oh, for sure. I mean, that just
yeah.
I mean that like just that day specifically was so hot. Like I'm surprised that more people didn't have an issue.
Right.
I would more of the fans were getting like wheeled out. I saw that when we walked out, like fans were like passed out and stuff like that as well. So
really,
yeah.
dang. Well, see, they didn't have those ice towels that we had. That's what I said. The fans had it worse those 2 days. That was awful.
We had the Airbnb. Devon, you came over to that Airbnb, right?
I came over a couple times.
You did, and we had turned the hot tub into a cold tub. We just got bags of ice and threw it into the hot tub. And so then, like when Kenny Harrison and Jenna Prandini were done with their day, they're like, it's so hot, we don't want to come over. I'm like, we got a cold tub. And that's how we shot their Inside the Oval episode, them sitting with their feet in the cold tub.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we had one for the Tracksmith house, and they just filled up a garbage disposal thing and filled it with ice and water, and it was great. I loved it. It was hot. But
and that's the thing about Eugene too. There's no AC. Like it's just like Eugene's like Annapolis. Like you see this little AC unit I have right here.
Did you install that?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty easy. I have them all over the house, but in Annapolis, a lot of the houses are old because where I live is like Annapolis, Maryland was the first capital of the country, and so it's like all historic buildings. So like you can't like tear them down. So I live in like a 200-year-old house, and like we have radiator heating with these like little pole like these. It runs like water to the radiator, like heats the house and all that stuff. So
that was Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara doesn't have any AC, or Canada. I was in Canada this weekend. Thankfully, we were in a hotel. But the first time I went for a Pan American Championship, and I won, but there was no AC. I was like, what the heck are people doing up here? But Santa Barbara, I was surprised. I was still sweating. They're like, oh, it feels great. I'm like, I'm sweating.
It's the first thing I did when we booked our Airbnbs for USA's and World. The first thing I did is look for AC on the Airbnb.
Yes, that's smart. We had to buy a portable one too. That's why I was asking if you installed yours, because we had to get one in Santa Barbara.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've done this a few times now. Like this is my third or fourth house with the 8-box AC stuff. So
wow, that's crazy.
Hey, one of the questions, Dev, that we asked that I want to just kind of throw in is, and I like asking you, Devon, even though you've answered this like 20 times, but let's do it to both you guys.
What it takes to be the greatest.
What does it take to be the greatest?
Love it. No, I'm ready for this question because I answer it the same or similarly every time.
Well, let's let Ashtin go first, so then maybe you'll have a different take on it.
That's a good, yeah.
Okay. I think obviously commitment and having the drive and motivation to do what you want to do. And obviously it takes some talent, but I think hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I feel like I'm a living testament to that. Like I didn't grow up super talented or like super fast or whatever, but I worked my freaking. Can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
I worked my freaking ass off like year after year, and I mean, you get injuries. I've torn my hamstrings. I've like dislocated both my shoulders. It's just, you know, you go through shit, and it's not fun, but you learn each time. And I think being the greatest, you just have to be motivated, and you have to be determined, and it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. Nothing in life is easy, especially not in track. Track is, like, I think, the hardest sport, because your results are so, like, counted, and so just, like, immediate. Like, oh, you run a time, there, boom, there's a time. Like, there's a hurdle race, or like you throw shot put, boom, that's what you threw. Like, it's just so, like, immediate. The results are so immediate. And I think track is such a hard sport, to where if you don't have the motivation and the drive to stick it out through the hard times and the learning process, then it's just not going to work. I think that's what makes people great. I think that's overcoming that lesson, the challenge. I don't know. Is that an okay answer?
No, that's great.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay.
So Devon, does that change your answer at all? Or you living in the same pocket?
No, I mean, everything that Ashton said was what it takes to be the greatest, and to be great at anything takes a lot of that, you know, just mindset and a lot of just discipline in terms of, you know, it doesn't even have to be, you know, we always talk about discipline, like, oh, eating right, or, you know, doing this, doing that. But like, discipline can also be like a mental thing. It could be like, you know, discipline to not let the specific instant result affect how you feel, or, you know, discipline and being able to, you know, understand, hey, I just did a heptathlon 2 weeks ago. It's okay if I don't score my best ever, you know, but I'm still out here because I'm trying to improve on something. I need to focus on each event. I need to focus on being consistent. I need to focus on making all 3 jumps and long jump, and, you know, not taking a whole bunch of jumps and high jump, or, you know, being consistent on my first throw in the shot, so I can feel like, okay, I can go for it now, right? Having that discipline in terms of, you know, know-how and being a student of the sport as well, right? You know, especially in the multi-event, you have to study a lot of different things that are going to make you better and help you improve, right? You have to, like you said, you can be fast. That's a huge advantage, right? It's a huge advantage, but a lot of people can train to be faster, but you need to learn how to throw technically correct. So one, you can throw far and not get hurt. You know, jumping is a whole different thing, because, you know, people say, oh, you're fast, you can just run and jump. It doesn't work like that, right? So you have to be disciplined in order to, like, study the game and have the mentality of, like, hey, you know, this is what I'm good at, I can get better. This is what I'm bad at, I can get better. So that's the gist of what is important on being great. And I think, like, that can just, you know, be, you know, culminated into one word. You know, that's why I use discipline in terms of, like, even now when I'm doing this football stuff, is like, do I have to be in these meetings to, like, every day, every morning and every day, because I'm virtual? Like, the coaches don't really care. I'm sure they do, like, to some extent, but, like, if I'm not there, they're not going to be like, where the fuck is Devon? Like, you know, but it's important that I figure this out, because in a month and 2 months, 2.5 months, when I'm in training camp, and I know what I'm doing because I spent, you know, these 4 hours a day now, then it's going to be a huge advantage, because now I know what I'm doing compared to people that might not know what they're doing. And 2, I can just play football as opposed to thinking about everything. And so it's just important in whatever you do, you know. It doesn't have to be just.
I think that is the best word for what makes you great.
It's so interesting you guys are both focused on that, because literally just this last week I was reading something about the concept of passion and kind of talent, and how much that contributes. And ultimately this article is about the kind of underrated power of discipline, because without that there's no consistency.
Oh my God, that's so true in the heptathlon.
Yeah, I mean, think of it's what you're saying, Devon, right? I mean, there's so many events, there's so many technical you know, things to work through. Then there's your whole body and how it's reacting on that day, right? I mean,
I think that goes with any event. Just being disciplined, like hurdles, like figuring that crap out in every day, just like doing something every day to make yourself better, that requires a lot of discipline, like eating right or whatever, recovery, like whatever that is. And I think especially for the hep, every day working on something different and knowing it's putting money in the bank. You're growing in some part, but gosh, some days I just don't want to go out there, but they turn out to be some of your best days. And just like as a mental thing too, just turn like, hey, it's okay if you feel like this, just tricking yourself sometimes, like this is gonna make you better, you can do this, and just keep like pressing on. And that's really what helps in the end. Yeah, I feel like I just rambled on there.
Well, the good news is
no,
you got
but
completely flipping a switch though. You guys are still married and you're living in the tiny camper, so that's always good.
no, it's great. And I think having some sort of like consistency in your life is good too for all athletes. Just being consistent. And I don't know, like, I mean, I know Wolf and I know he's a great guy, so I don't know much about the marriage, but you guys are married and you guys have been married for you said before COVID, right?
It's 2 years now.
So yeah, 2 years. So and so as of now, I'm just gonna assume it's going well because you guys are still married. So that consistency probably helps you, right? Like he's motivating you to go to the track, just like you motivate him to go to the track. And he's gonna be like, hey, you're gonna be like, hey, we shouldn't be eating, fudge sickles and fudge sundaes right now because we're trying to lock it in. Exactly, right? So that's great to have someone to help you with that as well.
Yeah, and having him as accountable, it's great.
Devon, what advice do you have? I mean, where are you going in Spain? What city?
Tenerife. So it's actually the islands off of Spain. I wish we were in Spain, but it's these beautiful islands off of Spain. So yeah.
I was going to ask Devon on food advice. Yeah.
Spain.
Oh,
that's the only country in Europe I haven't been to.
Dude, you would love
Spain,
it.
really?
Yeah.
Yes, I spent a lot of time in Madrid. So
I know. I want to buy a place actually in Spain. So,
really?
Yeah.
I want to go to Madrid so bad.
Oh God.
We have like a 4-hour layover. I know. That's what I hear.
Just the lifestyle's good.
But yeah, any advice you have for flying overseas? And I know like every hour is like your data adjust. Is that true?
Devon has good advice on this one. Let's hear it.
My advice is not going to be great advice in terms of just stuff you should follow. The jet lag thing is overrated. If you're tired, sleep. Just
really,
like, it's important to get on schedule, but your body will do it naturally. Like, how many days are you going to go before your competition?
I think we're going 7 days. So we're gonna
you'd be fine.
Time.
Yeah, you're fine. I would say this: if you're the sweet spot is like 3 to 5 days. Like, so if you're gonna go if you're going less than 2, like just sleep when you're tired. But if you're gonna be there for longer than 5 days, then you'll be fine. Like, don't worry about it. Like, you get there, take a nap, wake up. You're gonna be up at like 3, 4 a.m. That's fine. Like, play on your phone, go back to sleep, wake up at like 7, and then do your day. And you'll be tired, but that's fine. I have like it's me and my agent's rule is like with travel. We like if we can upgrade to first class for less than $100 an hour, then we'll do that. So always at like if I don't know your finances, but it does help a lot. And when I first was a pro, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna fly first class. Like, it's not that big a deal because I want to save the $800 or $1,000, but it's good for performance, especially when I was like going over for like a diamond league, right? Like, I'm trying to win 10 grand. Like, I'll spend like $700 in order to do that.
Yeah, no, heck yeah.
So
that's awesome. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Well, then there's 2 of us, so that would be extra fun.
No, he gets the Wolf is in the back. That's too bad.
You're gonna go back,
yeah.
Well, you know what I will say is you guys are flying to Madrid. I would say, what airport are you flying out of?
We're flying out of Dallas. It's like a straight shot.
I would say like try to schmooze up the flight attendant up working the desk. Like, hey, yeah, we're going on our honeymoon.
Oh, hey. Okay.
I like
that. I actually didn't take one.
Then perfect. You guys are going on your honeymoon.
So yeah, that'd be great. Yeah,
Just be
I
like,
can
hey, is there
see
any
that. It's
upgrades? Me and my husband are going on our honeymoon, and we like to, see if we can sit together. Like, if there's any first class, like, obviously look too. Like,
okay.
you can look and see if there's upgrades, so like you don't sound like an idiot if there's no seats available. But check
Right.
and then go ask.
I like this.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll have to do that.
I mean,
Yeah, that's
you just gotta be
yeah.
confident. You just gotta ask,
100%.
and worst
Hey,
thing they say is no, and then you just sit in your same seat.
Okay, yeah,
my
that's
rule
true.
is the rules don't apply to me. So that's for everyone else to think about how they're going to get their upgrades. But for me, I would definitely go do that, Devon, because there's no rules for me. Everyone else has to play by that.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I've been around it, Bob.
That's
I've seen
awesome.
you get golf carts and stuff driven on the track by just the guys working at the facility, like security. Like, can we borrow this? Like,
Oh
sure.
my gosh.
Yeah.
We got it done. We had to get it
So
done. It's a team effort. So
Yeah.
Devon, do you have usually at the end, Ashton, at the end of our hour, we ask a question about what were you thinking in a certain moment, and Devon usually comes up with some good ones. So
oh yeah, I mean, I had one instantly right when
okay,
you asked me to be on the show. All right, so this is kind of like a two-parter. One, obviously, I kind of know how you were feeling and what you were thinking, but what were you thinking when you won your national title in 2019, and what was that after party like
After party.
in Texas? Because I was
Oh
just out of
man.
college, and so I didn't feel comfortable enough to go. Like to go to the NCAA party because I was like 23 at the time, and I was like, I'm too old now. Like, I just need to let the kids have their fun. So
Yeah, no, you totally should have come. Shoot. What was I thinking? Well, I mean, like, I was crying during the 800. Like, I knew I had won after the javelin. So it's really hard to run an 800 hard when, you've won something that
you don't
you've
have
worked
to.
so
Yeah.
hard. Yeah, you don't have to, too. So it's just like, yeah, no, that was incredible. Yeah, I don't know. It's just words can't explain that. I never thought I would ever be a national champion, but it just worked out, and I worked my butt off. So that was great. And it just fell into place. It's just really cool that it was at UT. So I think that was the most special part. And all my family wearing UT gear. That was fun, except for mom, but everyone else wore UT gear. So that was
That's
awesome.
good to hear.
Lots of pictures there. But no, the after party. It's funny. I don't even remember the after party. That's
That's how it should be. That's how you wrap
Okay.
this.
I don't even remember. I really don't. I think I remember drug testing, and then that's all I remember. So that was fun.
So,
And I know we went out to eat with my family before all the craziness began. But yeah, it was nice celebrating with them. So
no, that's good.
it was great.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I feel you on not remembering like the after party because after the Olympic trials in
So tired.
2016, I was literally like, I just woke up the next morning and I had to go to like team processing, and I'm like, what just happened? And then like I have like videos on my phone, and
no.
like my roommates are sending me videos of me like I have my Olympic trials medal from 2016, and my roommate's dog is like a little like toy poodle, whatever, and I was like scaring her with it.
Oh my god.
And I was like, I don't remember that at all.
That's hilarious. Golly. Things we do. No, it was fun. That's awesome.
Ashton, do you have a what were you thinking question for Devon?
Yeah, I want to know what were you thinking during like your PR race? I don't know what year did you run that?
I ran it last year.
Last year. I knew it was close. What were you thinking before the race?
Oh, interesting.
So that's a good question. Before, so we were warming up. It's in Croatia. If you go to that meet in Zagreb, the warm up track is just like a turf field, which is fine. I mean, I've been there 3 years now, so like I'm used to, kind of how it's set up. So you have to like measure out on the turf and like put like tape to where the hurdles go to like do practice runs, and like we're even doing block starts on the turf. And it's funny because I had just like started wearing those new spikes with the air bubble. that Nike has, and I had 3 pair with me on that trip because I started running like August 23rd was my first meet. My last meet was going to be September 14th, so I'll be there for 3 weeks. So yeah, I'll just bring extra pairs so I can train, all that stuff. Bring them over, wearing them. My buddy David King is a British hurdler. He was like, "Oh, dude, like, what do you think about the shoes?" And I was like, "Dude, I think they're great, like super comfy, all this stuff." He's just like, he's not sponsored, so I was like, you know, we're the same size. I was like, here's a pair, like, don't like, you know, see how you like them. So we go off, like we run in the same meet, and then we go to different meets. He goes home to train for like a week, and I'm just racing. And then he texts me, he's like, "Oh, bro, I like cracked the spike plate. Like the spike plate broke on the spikes." I'm like, "Oh man, that sucks. Like, don't worry, I got another pair. Like, we're good. Like, I got 2 more pair." So then we meet up again in Poland for a meet, maybe like a whole week before Zagreb, maybe like a week before the Diamond League final. And I give him the other pair, and we race. You know, I'm racing. I'm still in the same pair that I started racing, and they were working fine for me. Race, go to the Diamond League final, win the Diamond League final. Great, super happy, great, you know, great race. 2 days later is Zagreb, so I'm in Zagreb warming up for the meet. Doing my practice start, my last practice start before I go out, my air bubble pops.
No.
I was like, no. I was like, no way. So I'm like, you know, and it's kind of weird, like this, you know, just the inside one. So my ankles, like my foot's tilted like this. And luckily David was there competing. And I was like,
oh my
David.
God.
I was like, bro,
I need the
like,
spikes.
I was like, I hate to do this to you, but I gave you two pair of spikes. Like, he's like, "No, dude, don't worry about it." Like, he was super cool, like, about it at all. He was like, "Dude, like, we'll just switch anyways, because my takeoff foot isn't, because it was my takeoff foot. Like, it would have been weird, like, jumping off that spike." He's like, "Oh, we're different lead legs. Like, I'll just, you know, it's not my takeoff foot, it's my landing foot, so no biggie." And he actually ran fast that race. He ran like 13:30 as well.
Wow. Yeah.
But so I put the new, like, finish the colonist in. I'm like panicking in my head, like trying to get the other spikes on. We like switch spikes real quick, go out to the track, and then, you know, forget about that. Now I got the spikes and getting ready to run and getting the blocks, and the gun goes off. It was a quick gun. I do remember that because I was like just in set for like a moment. Gun goes, and I get a good reaction and go. And by the time I get to like the first hurdle, I felt like, whoa, like I'm out like really far in front. And I was like, oh, and right when that happened after the first hurdle, in my head, I was like, this is the one. So I just like,
Really?
Yeah. And so I just like, I was like, just,
you know,
trying
after
to,
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like trying to stay clean. Like, okay, like I'm already flying. Like, I just need to stay, like, not hit a hurdle, you know, and fall. So I finished the race, and I finished through the line, and the time says 13:03. I'm like, fuck. And you see the video. If you watch the video, it looks like I'm celebrating, but I'm really screaming because I thought I ran 13:03, and I'm like, damn it, that's like that tied my old PB. That was my PB from 2016. So, you know, and I look at, like, go to the camera. I'm like, oh, is this close? That's what I'm saying to the camera.
Right.
And then I'm like, you know, dapping up the guys. Like, I see David, and David's like, bro, you just ran 12. And I was like, what? And I look, and they adjusted the time to 12:99. And I was like,
wow.
I was like, let's go.
Crazy.
So yeah. Wow. So that was the story. That was the feeling. It was good. It felt good.
That's amazing.
Hopefully I'll break that this weekend. So stay tuned.
Heck yeah. Let's go. Good luck.
There we go. That's great. Great question, Ashton. I'm glad.
Yeah, good question.
I'm glad you asked it.
No, I always want to know what people are thinking before the race. Yeah.
It was long and drawn out, but that's like the lead up. That's
what
makes the story good.
It was a great story.
It's a good story.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that's a great way to end the show.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on, Bob. Thanks again. Everybody tuning in. This is what we're thinking. You can follow us at World's Greatest on Twitter at World's Greatest without the vowels, WRLDSGRTST. And YouTube is the World's Greatest, right? And then the Instagram is the World's Greatest Team. And check it out. We got some good content coming out. These guys, you know, Bob especially, and the crew, George and Mike, are all over the country and all over the world, really, getting content and stuff. So there's a lot of stuff banked up, and it's going to be rolling out here soon, especially rolling into USAs and world champs. So, you know, be aware, just follow the pages. So when it comes out, you can see it first.
We were just talking content strategy. We're talking the distribution strategy for your series, Devon. So we're that's a new big one.
Coming soon to ESPN.
Oh, that's exciting.
No, I don't know where it's coming to. I'm just putting it out there in the universe.
Hey,
maybe ESPN will buy it.
We got some nibbles. We'll see. But Ashtin, we got to start pulling you into some of these series. And I was telling Ashtin about our road trip, our kind of buddy road trip series they're working on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I know. That's one that's like unnatural.
Cool.
So I'm gonna find more out about that in the next 10 days. But yeah, so I'm sure we'll see you on the road. We're heading to about 10 cities in the next 40 days, 50 days, or whatever. So it's about to heat up. Just like you guys, same thing.
We're doing it now. Yeah, no, good luck, and hopefully you can drive a Prius or something. Gas money.
Yeah, gas mileage or a Tesla.
Yeah, a Tesla. Yeah, there you go. No, we have a Prius, that's why I said that. But no, yeah, good luck. Have fun, and thanks for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
thank you for being on.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon.
Peace.